Shalom. I'd like to say all praise due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. My name is Kanawak, doing this lesson. This is off of CNN News. I woke up and I saw this. Where I said Putin says he's ready to use nuclear weapons if Russian state at stake. Says Putin says he's ready to use nuclear weapons if Russian state act stake, but there has never been such a need, right? So basically, like this is like this whole election, Putin's gonna be running for election, but this is gonna be the guy who's gonna who's gonna do the job that's gonna bring the whole world to their knees, because this is biblical prophecy, man. It says Romans, it's like the book of Revelation 9. It says one woe is past and there become two woes more hereafter. So we know that World War One, World War Two, came, right? And then we're approaching the World War Three, right? That's leading up to World War Three, right? It says Moscow is ready to use nuclear weapons if there is a threat to the existence of the Russian state, but there has never been such a need. President Vladimir Putin says in an interview with the state media, like published Wednesday. So this was published Wednesday, right? This is, I believe, today. Slack, that was today is Wednesday, right? So I guess that was like a couple hours ago in Russia, right? The Russian leader made the comment to the Russi the First and Rhea Navazit ahead of the president election on March 15th, in which he is widely expected to sail through to the first term in office, and as his full scale war in Ukraine grind into the third term, right? So this is like this guy, Putin, right? He's fighting that war he's fighting that war like in that over there in the Ukraine, right? And I know Ukrainians, right, that their soldiers is feeling it, right? But this because we know that the state of Ukraine, it was one of the Soviet Union, right? Was once a part of the Soviet Union, right? So, right, but like this is biblical prophecy that's coming to pass, man, because this is gonna be the guy that's gonna bring the war of all wars, right? And and this guy is stirring, like this is gonna be the guy, right? And we're approaching the time, man, World War Three, and this is prophecy that's coming to pass, man. Again, Isaiah 9, verse 5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, right? Because we know back in the ancient world, right, like we had swords, when we're going to battle, right? And but now this is a whole different war, right? And we know that Esau's blessing is a sword, and this guy, like this whole Putin, man, he's gonna bring that he's gonna be one of the guys that's gonna bring this whole World War Three to come. He could be the last prime minister of the Ukraine, and we don't know who's gonna be like president for America, right? But we're approaching these time, man. That World War Three is approaching, man. Get Malachi 4. The book of Malachi 4. For behold, the days cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies, right? That shall leave them neither root nor branch, right? So this is the Lord. He's the one that's doing this sacrifice, right? That that people on this earth is very proud, right? So certain parts of the earth it's going to be affected, right? Mainly Babylon, certain parts of the world like Russia, right? Certain capitals, or cities is going to be destroyed, but the whole state of Babylon, which is being known as America, is going to be affected, right? And it's going to be a completely overthrow with the whole like nuclear missiles, and the angels too are going to be using their technology and destroying these cities and towns and stuff, man. So we're approaching these times. So I'm gonna play this. It's for educational purposes.
Triada. Our triad and the whole nuclear element is more modern. In general, if we talk about the carriers and numbers of warheads, we are more or less equal, but ours are more modern. Everybody knows this, all experts know this.
Vladimir Putin talking about the nuclear triad, that obviously means delivering nuclear weapons by land, sea, and by air. He also said that only the United States even has a nuclear triad comparable to Russia. So what he's telling the Russian audience is that Russia is a mighty country on parity, as he tries to portray it, with the United States, at the same time, of course, also a threat to the rest of the world, basically, and especially to NATO members, not to mess with Russia. There were a couple other things, Kate, that I think we should also take note of. He warned the U.S. from sending ground troops into Ukraine. Of course, no one said that they want to send ground troops, but nevertheless, he mentioned that in the interview. He also threatened Poland as well, saying that if they were to send ground troops into Ukraine, that those troops would probably want to stay there. Again, the Poles also not talking about sending troops to Ukraine. So in general, a very bullish interview that we heard there from Vladimir Putin at that key election forum on March 17th, Kate.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pause this. Yeah, basically, these. Let me pause this. Yeah, pretty much. That interview. He's talking about he's gonna use nuclear weapon if possible, which is prophecy, right? But when you watch movies like Independence Day with Will Smith, right? Basically, like there were the aliens that came, like the fathership, right? That came, and basically like destroyed Manhattan, New York City, and basically there was war, right? There was like the Iranians and stuff. They were fighting war, right? So basically, like these other nations that have the nuclear capability, like they don't really want war, but they know that once the angels intervene, man, all right, that's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna be a wrap, man. It's gonna be a complete wrap. Second Ezra's 13, I believe, because they don't want nuclear war, man. All right, because that means that their whole enterprise, their whole empire is gonna collapse worldwide. All right, Second Ezra's 13:1, and after that I came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, right? So this was a vision the prophet Esdras had, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the ways thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven, and when he and his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Right, so this is when Yahweh Shai came, man. when he's gonna be on the scene. All right, and this is a vision that Prophet Esdras had. So he wrote these things down, and basically it's like that. Like now, a lot of people is having visions, right? All right, you have Israelites, you have other nations that having visions, and they're making videos of things that they're seeing, visions, but it's gonna actually come to pass. Some of those visions, right? Because it's biblical prophecy, right? It says, your sons and your daughters shall see dreams, and and they shall prophesy, right? So that this is what's happening. And whenever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire, right? So this is the angels, man. Like they're not gonna be doing no talking. All they're gonna do is just push the button, or like whatever technology that they're using, like through their ships, and they're just gonna just annihilate, these cities, these towns, right? Their armies and all that stuff, man. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of a number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that cometh out of the sea. So this is uh, the heavenly Father, right? Right, and then the four archangels. And beheld, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Right, so this was gonna be the whole, that when you watch that movie with Independence Day, like with Will Smith, right? The fathership was like a mountain, right? So the angels, they're coming, and the heavenly Father, um his son Yahweh Shai is gonna be coming, with a great ship, man. And like that's why there's a lot of these signs what's happening right now. Like this whole eclipse that's gonna happen on April the 8th, throughout throughout the east coast and certain parts of the west coast, right? And from Mexico all the way all the way to the east coast, right? It's gonna be a sight, right? So when he's gonna come on the scene, because basically we're approaching this time, right, where the prophets won't be out there anymore, right? And they're gonna make laws where if you're a prophet, if you're Israelite, and you're preaching, things to come, they're gonna wanna lock us up and all these stuff. So we're approaching these times that the famine of the words coming, and then the mark of the beast is coming. So this is a very good, powerful chapter, man. It says I could keep going, but I would have seen the region and place wherein the hill was graven, and I would not. After this I beheld, and lo, all they that which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet there's fight. All right, so these other army, these other like their military, their tanks, their their submarines, right? Their ships, right? Their military ships, their drones, their jets, their helicopters, right? They're gonna be trying to fight against the Lord, and they're gonna be trying to send, like their like technology there to try to fight against the Lord, but it's not gonna work, all right? Because they have like laser, like they have like the laser technology, where basically like where they could instead of using like guns and stuff, like they could just use like lasers, right, to destroy um you know destroy other armies or and stuff. But you know they're not going to be able to fight against the Lord and their technology, because he's the one that's given them this technology, right? The heavenly Father and his son. But only I saw that He sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. Right. So the angels, man, they're gonna be using their technology, their technology, right, with their lasers and stuff, and they're gonna evaporate, you know, people that's gonna try to fight against the Lord, right? Because this is the Lord's armies, man. All right. And fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up, every one, so that upon suddenly, for an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was sore afraid. Right. So this was the vision that Esdras had, and the prophet Uriel, it's like the angel Uriel, had to, you know, had to explain, like what was going on, right? And that was, after this I saw I was after this I saw some after this I saw the same man come down from the mountain and call upon him an innumerable peaceable multitude. So this is going to be the elect that's going to be gathered, right? The 1/3 and the 144,000. That's gonna say, come up hither, right? So the angels are gonna gather the elect into the ship, and there came up much people unto him, wherefore some were glad, and some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and others brought, and others brought of them that were offered, that then was I sick, right? So basically they're gonna say, after this I came much people unto me, wherefore some were glad, right? So who's gonna be glad? The elect, and the 1/3. Some were sorry, right? So maybe certain guys that was preaching certain doctrine, right? The Lord's gonna deal with them too, right? Or maybe he might pardon, some of these guys. And some were bound. Who's gonna be bound, right? The elite, their military, right? Because they're gonna have to build up our empire eventually, right? And others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick and through great fear, and I awakened and said, so this was a serious, intense vision, right? Because this is what we're approaching now, so we're approaching these times, so we gotta stay rooted, because there's a lot of distractions, right? But we know that this is the month of March, which is the Mars, the god of war, right? When you go into the whole Greek etymology, when you go into the whole Greek, in that Greek mythology and stuff, the god of war, right? So a lot of things is gonna be happening, you know. So that's pretty much it, right? So with that, like I say, I'll praise it due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akakwadash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.